The seafood industry was a booming business for the entire Gulf Coast. Before the spill, it averaged about $700 million a year, providing over 100,000 jobs. A big part of this was the oyster industry, with fishermen harvesting from oyster beds that are very sparse, small, and fragile.
What you see are real-time images of a real-world disaster unfolding 5,000 feet below the surface of the Gulf.
Here you see how the oil spread and where it's projected to spread. Notice the density of the oil dangerously close to the oyster beds. The spill had a big impact on the oyster's ability to filter effectively and caused the oysters to be inedible. Oysters function as a keystone species in a number of ways. They feed on detritus, which is the waste of marine animals. Other critters also feed on oysters, including a variety of birds and seals. The oyster's shell even acts as a surface onto which algae can grow. In addition, oysters help to improve the Gulf's water quality through filtration, shown here.
The Gulf oysters fulfill a crucial role in their ecosystem. As you can see, they act as the strongest link in the food web. Harming or removing oyster populations can easily cause a domino effect, damaging the entire Gulf ecosystem. Their filtration, cleaning abilities, habitat provision, and role as prey allow the ecosystem to function.
Little does this man know, he is a part of that food chain and is therefore in potential danger. According to the FDA, oil contamination presents two kinds of risks: the presence of petroleum taint that renders seafood unfit for human consumption, and the presence of PAHs that are chemical hazards. If not properly managed, contaminated oysters could end up in well-known restaurants nationwide.
The consumption of contaminated seafood is not the only health hazard. Even the slightest exposure is also extremely dangerous. For example, cleanup workers are at risk.
We're a 134-year-old oyster business, and right now it looks like this is going to be the last day that we're going to shuck oysters at our location unless certain areas reopen here in the state of Louisiana.
Even though the oil flow has been capped, the government's job still isn't done. The economy, environment, and general welfare of the public are still highly dependent on government actions. Officials need to make policies that ensure that our nation begins to wean itself off oil, create a preemptive action plan for future spills, educate the public on the dangers associated with oil, intensify monitoring of oil companies, and help to restore oyster habitats. Programs such as the 100 to 1,000 project have worked alongside the government and through volunteer efforts to help restore and create new oyster reefs.
It is obvious that oysters are a crucial part in the Gulf's ecosystem and economy. This is why government actions are so vital in the restoration of oyster habitats, as well as in the regulation of oil companies. If action is taken now, there will be a better future for the Gulf.